Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are looking at What if Civilization Started Over, episode 39. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. And we're going to start off over here. Okay, so we can call this North China. So North China has finished Project Dominate on this island. And they're transferring it to somewhere new. And it's ready to be used. I'm not going to say what it is, but just know that it is. So we're going to go ahead and get into the video. And starting off, right now there are major rebellions all across the world, and it's very big. A very big thing. Most of these rebellions are happening in 3 countries. Number 1 is Argentina. Number 2 is South Africa. And number 3 is actually this yellow country right here. There are some minor rebellions like in Mongolia and India and Indonesia. But those don't really do anything. But right now we're going to see what happens in these new rebellions. As we're going to start off with the rebellion down here in Argentina. And it leads to a new country being created, of course. And it's going to start out, let's make this, it's going to start out in the old areas of Chile, or the Chilean Rebellion. And it's just going to keep growing. And eventually, it hugs a close border with the Chileans, and actually all the way around them. And they've already taken 2 major cities, and they're slowly creeping their way down to this one. But you know that this is actually, Argentina is very strong from the power rankings that we can see. They are 14th. So, that's going to help them fight it off. And they actually make a pretty large offensive. And they're using a pretty good strategy. And this is basically go toward the major cities and capture all the major areas. So they capture the major city right here and then link up with the coast. And they also send another convoy out and they capture this major city and link up with the orange team. And this is a very large encirclement of probably about 30,000 people. And it's going to slowly get shredded down. It's about here, where we can see basically the rest of the war happening. This area is going to grow larger. But the new Chilean Republic, or their troops, break through the line. And they start advancing this way. And now all these troops over here are encircled. But no one's really fighting them. So they're able to go pretty far. And they're trying to get that connection back. It's not really working though. And they've decided that they'll just make a new connection down here. Need to fix this area up. And they end up connecting again. So now they only have ghosts up here in the north. And it basically goes like this. This area gets captured. But before anything else happens to the new Chilean Republic, a new breakaway state is happening down here in the south. And it's actually on the Falkland Islands. It's the Falkland Island Rebellion. I like that purple actually. I'm going to use purple. So they've taken over all this area. And they're not going to go after down there. But they will, however, go after all these southern isles. There are no troops down here. They didn't think they needed any, because there's not very many people down here. But they were wrong. There's probably, at this point, in the total of all the southern area, which I would say is this. Let me zoom out a little bit. It's probably all of this is the southern area. there's probably like 300,000 people down here. And half of them are in the major cities. But still, this rebellion is gaining a lot of traction. And this one is something that we haven't discussed yet, their ideology. We haven't discussed this type of ideology yet. But they keep marching up, and they get to these other major cities. And they actually capture this one. And they basically capture all this before troops arrive. And when they do, they don't have very much success. And while this happened, the new Chile is able to get a little bit more traction. And they encircle these troops once again, as well as get to the border of this major city. Now, the Orange team, they want land. They're fascist. Pretty sure we all know that. No, they're communist. So they want land. So they're going to declare war on the rebellion. And they just start sending their troops in. They don't have very much, but there was like no troops up here. Besides at that major city. So they go like this. But the Argentinians are going to fight back against them. And then eventually they lead a new front line into here. So they're like, can we work this out? And to which they say, I don't think we can. Which leads to them getting absolutely dominated. And they have to pull back all their troops because they surrendered. Now it's just this guy left. And they're going to slowly get closed in until they agree to peace. These guys down here agree to peace after they take this major city and this one. And now we're going to see the new peace deal. Here's the peace treaty. It's pretty simple. The new Chilean Republic is going to get all this land. The borders are kind of wonky. But it's here now. We also need to promote their capital. There we go. And these guys' capital is, of course, going to be on the Falkland Islands. And they have to give up a little pieces of territory right here. And there we go, that's the peace treaty. As for the Orange team, it's going to be occupied until they can work out a peace deal. And in this peace deal, this is going to be called the Lima Conferences because it's held in Lima, or I don't know, that's how you say it, I believe. I'm not so sure anymore. But in that peace conference, they give the new Chilean Republic 2 provinces. And they just go ahead and take the rest. So now they have this weird little panhandle. Now they have 2 panhandles on each side. Makes them look kind of weird. As for down here, these borders don't look the best. It looks very bad. So, they again make second part of the conference, it states that a new province be made, and there are 2 new provinces, this one and this one, which of course lead to this country getting those 2, but it's in exchange for something. So yes, they do grow bigger. But we will talk about what they get in return. And that said thing is actually them joining a new alliance. And this alliance is, they both join in an alliance as part of the deal. And it's going to be the Hexagon Alliance. Or, this is not a Hexagon. This is the 6-Point Star Alliance. They join this alliance. And they encourage Peru and Colombia to join it too. Before anything else can happen, a new alliance is being made. And this alliance is going to, it's going to stir up some commotion. And this is mostly because it's made by Brazil, and they get Colombia to join. Or no, they get Venezuela to join, and Venezuela and Colombia are pretty good friends. So, they're actually going to join this alliance instead. I always forget that. Okay, now I have to remake this all in this one. Okay, so yeah, like I said, they join the 6-Pointed Star Alliance. As well as the New Chilean Republic. And they even get this yellow team to join. Meanwhile, Colombia and Brazil, let's just have them join the Diamond Alliance for simplicity. So they're basically just Ecuador, Falkland Islands, and the HRE that aren't in any alliances. So it's basically like a war between... It's a war between influence. And it's against Colombia and Argentina. Argentina is winning. I mean, technically in members until Ecuador joins the Diamond Alliance for protection. Now it's a 5v5, so we might be seeing more from that in the future. Now, we need to see the next one that's going to be happening, and that is South Africa. Recently, a lot of this land had been taken, but even more of it's going to be taken because a new rebellion has been founded that is in support of the purple team, and they want to join up. And it leaks over into this area because, as we know, a lot of this area right here, up to here, up to here, used to be owned by the purple team way back in like episode 10 or something. So it's very historical land for them. And, of course, this is going to leak into more surrounding nations, including the Cyan team, which they fall over pretty fast. But remember, South Africa is pretty strong, and the purple team right here has a lot of support from some other countries. So that will be happening. But overall, they are able to hold them back. And basically, what is said is, you don't get any land out of South America. You actually get land in the purple team. And you get to take the whole Cyan team. So now they have officially made their new empire, I guess, because they took over our country, so classified as empire. There we go. So the purple team is back. To any purple fans, I guess. I don't really know anybody who would have been in support of this. But I'm curious, what is your favorite country on the map? Maybe it's, I don't know, Mongolia, Korea, India, Indonesia, the red team, Spain, France, the Norway Union. Just, if you, just leave a comment down below saying, what's your favorite country? And, yeah, time to get into the next part of the video. And this is going to be a very big and eventful video, so stay tuned. We're not even 50% done. Next, we actually see the purple team, the pink team right over here, collapsing. And, Canada is going to hurry and take some of this land. But their ally is actually going to occupy most of it, the USA. And this is mostly because they're actually going to occupy all of it. Mostly because Canada is severely weakened, as we know. And at the same time, the red team up here collapses with air quotes. Mostly because this was this whole red team is a big ploy by Alaska to get more land. So Alaska comes and occupies it. And when I say occupies it, I mean all of it. They're very friendly with the purple team. So much so that they even let them get access to the coast right up here. This is like all they wanted. They were very mad that they didn't get this in the peace treaty. And now that they do, they're actually happy and they're gonna help occupy. Until eventually, the main provinces are incorporated into the red team. So like all this area is incorporated into them. There we go, and we can just erase their capital over here, and their capital over here. So, and meanwhile all this is happening, they finally incorporate this territory back into Canada. But up here, the rest of this land is actually given over to the purple team. And they actually make them like sort of a ally. And this is actually to get better access to the science team because they're allies. But they have been slowly growing apart, like very. But they're slowly gaining rapid succession. Their ideas are very different to each other, so they're starting to be mean to each other, and we can actually see this effect really well. We need to, of course, get rid of this. Donuts. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of the Argentina's one. This is only because we need to move it up a little bit and make it a little bit smaller because Falkland is here. And the good thing about this, though, is it's very anti-fascist or whatever. They're one fascist country. The rest are like dictatorships. So both of these are actually both democracies. And all of them are like full democracies. And they even convert the yellow team into an actual democracy. Meanwhile, this orange team, they are converted into a false democracy. Which is very important because if we, I was talking about the kind of the alliance war thing that's happening here. So we can see everybody in the alliance here is a democracy now. Some sort of democracy. Meanwhile, in the other alliance, it's mixed. It's half dictatorship. As we can see, how many of them are dictators? Oops, not that one. So many maps. Okay, yeah, most of them are dictators. There's 3 dictators. There's two democracies and 1 fascist. And there's a lot of movements in Ecuador to become part of Colombia. Who is going to willingly accept this? So they become once a Colombia. Once again. The government is very angry about this, but there's nothing they can do against the support of the people. And the Galapagos go back over to Colombia, where they find something on the island. But for now, we should go ahead and get rid of this. and ideology. That. There we go. And up here, there's not going to be very much more happening. And now we can move on to the next country. Or we did, which was the yellow team. Remember, they were having some little rebellions that turned into bigger rebellions. All that good stuff. And eventually, a light cyan team is popped out. This is not the same as the cyan team. Note that. It quickly gains control. Hello? What is this? Oh, it's from the province map. That's weird. We can turn the provinces off now. That looks way better. The yellow team is gonna fight back fiercely because they have the side of the peach team. Them and the peach team are very close buddies, as well as the red team. They're very close. And it goes like this. They'll push back all the way up into this little northern area, where they learned they were actually part of a organization, of a rebellious organization that has been funded by somebody else, who will be revealed in a later part of the episode. But for now, they both agree to peace, in which they gain all this land. They gain that little piece of land. The rest of this province back over to the yellow team. There we go. So now they're a thing. And they might be annexed later, so we're not going to give them capital. Because I don't feel like it right now. There we go. There is our rebellion. That's the end of the rebellions. And as like I talked about earlier, as the red team got annexed up here in Canada, tensions rise a lot between everybody, like the fascists. The fascists don't really have anything to do with this, so they're out of it. It's basically mostly between the democracies and the communists. So that's where they mainly rise. Now something's going to be happen, and this is the end of the episode. Besides for a little bit more draining of the Mediterranean, of the Gulf of Mexico / America. It'll be the last one. There won't be any more draining for it. But the dams will stay. But this is actually a very big event has happened. And it's the ideology shift of these two countries right here. The blue team and the orange team both convert to fascism. And you might notice that they both border communist countries, which is very interesting. They don't like either of these communist countries, which is very surprising. But following this, they both leave the economical alliance that they were in. So now there's 4 countries who are in an economical alliance, this gigantic economical union. And most of these countries follow the same currency, but there are like mini ones. So there are like many agencies inside of this that have their own currency. There's like the southern one that, with all these guys that have their own currency. There was this one that they all have their own currency, but 2 of them just left, so looking a little bit lonely. So we're going to change it up to this, and then to that. They're all in it. Then there's the red team that goes like this, and then the rest of them all share an alliance. So that's 4 different money systems that are united under one economical alliance. And now we can figure out who funded that rebellion, which is, of course, going to be the Orange team. That was probably pretty obvious. And they take it over, and this makes Yellow team very mad. Very, very mad. Now, we're going to see the last part of the draining. This little piece of land is taken over right here, as well as a little piece of land right there in Texas. Next, Mexico will be getting this much land. Nothing over here changes with that island and stuff. And then this area, this little piece of land right here, Florida is basically non-existent. It's part of mainland now. And there we go. That was the last part of the draining. There won't be any more. Mexico is looking very weird, but we're going to continue. Meanwhile, we're down to the Caribbean Sea draining. And it is actually going amazingly well. And it has reached these islands right here. And with help from Colombia, linking up to this island. This is probably over the course of like 5 years, because they are very rapid exception. Both of the alliances are helping fund this, which actually leads to this sea now draining a little bit. And with that, we see a lot of this area. A lot of it is connected now. Specifically this area, and that dam's tore down because it is not needed. And a small little area right here is connected to Jamaica. But a lot of this area is starting to drain. But it's going to be a lot less, because the dam is quite huge. Like, very massive. So it's going to start draining a lot slower. But we already see massive stuff happening, like this area taking over. Panama is now becoming very big and connected. But they actually make sure there's enough room, because there is a Panama Canal in this universe that goes right through there. This little lake right here is gone. I briefly call it a lake, but it's like a bay. But that's all gone. Venezuela doesn't really get much land out of this, because they can't. They're mostly on the right of this. And Mexico will get a little bit more land. And that's going to do it for the draining over here. Now we need to look at Indonesia. They're not going to really gain any more land. Yeah, there's not really much they can do about it. And that is the end of today's episode. If you enjoyed, please show your support, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.